Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here with us today. So we are very happy to start our last session. A bit late, we had small technical issues. So we'll have this last session with Lilitt Bollinger and Carole Pont and Céline Guibat from Mijong. So thank you very much for coming here at the EPFL. We're very happy to have you on stage. As we did previously, we will start with a short introduction of the architect and then continue with the presentation and a debate. So after a first career in design, Lilitt Bollinger became an architect and established in 2013 her office in Nuglar in the periphery of Basel. And she soon became known for her renovation building. She mainly works by adding layers to the existent, considering every project as a kind of palimpsest where new elements are confronting with the old patina. Her drawings also betray the care and the attention given to each surface, the old ones and the new ones. And eventually, Lilitt Bollinger is also very fascinated with the handwork and establishes a strong dialogue and a strong relationship on site with the craftsmen. And indeed, this enabled her to try and find very accurate solution for each project.
Lilitt, if you want to start, maybe your presentation.
Okay, thank you for inviting me here. I am talking about the Swiss countryside. This is the village of Nuglar, about 10 years ago. It is situated on a high plateau, which is well suited for fruit growing. Here were two warehouses of a former distillery, which were converted into homes in different ways. These two projects I would like to present. This is the Kirschlager cherry warehouse. On the left in 1968, under construction, and in 2016, before the conversion. We were fascinated by the ugliness of the concrete building. Now the surroundings of the building look like this, somehow lost and desolate in a certain way, unattractive, but precisely because of this, also undefined and free. The built reality actually looks like this most of the time, and you have to deal with that. Often it's about looking at something negative in a new way. You have to change the way you deal with it. I don't necessarily look at the history of a place in historical terms. It's more a kind of narration, a story that is retold, a story of inhabitants, incidents and moods. I see a building a bit like a tree which stands in one place for many years and sees how the world around it changes and how it changes with it. In the Kirschlager, we wanted to put in a flat and an office. The building is big, the budget is tight. We had to realize the project with cheap materials and targeted measures. Apart from the installation, we had to cut and drill through the building to bring light in everywhere and to have a view. These openings serve to light the new living spaces. From the outside, a large window box is placed on top, which contrasts with the old wall and shows the old wall on the inside as a separated spatial element. The interior becomes a spatial relief, rich in contrast and multi-layered. Spatial proportions, light guidance, and rough surfaces. New materials are placed next to old, used surfaces. I am interested in poetic moments. An existing orange pillar now stands in the middle of a new doorway. It is so fine and yet supports an entire roof. The wine warehouse was a bulky agricultural industrial building, a massive volume under a large roof. The building was supposed to be demolished because it was too big. But with a special permit, we were allowed to keep the base floor with the cellar. Only the upper volume had to be reduced in size to build a residential building with 6 units. This old access via a ramp fascinated me very much, and so I wanted to keep this kind of entrance situation. So it was possible to build a small wooden building within the old walls, and under the large cantilevered roof, a semi-private shared outdoor space is created between old and new walls. The question is always, how do I want to move in the space? What sense of space and also body sensation is important? The project allows 6 studio flats to be placed on the basement level. The common outdoor space is access to the flats and to the basement and the garden, and includes a covered outdoor kitchen on the south side of the building. New parts of the building stand next to old parts. The old parts are only patched up, only the most necessary things are done. For example, the garage doors, the old patina remains. Floor slabs on the forecourt are not renewed. You can see where new pipes are being put in. After a short time, the residents will have to continue working on the building and design the surroundings themselves. So it's about control and loss of control. Traces of time become visible. New and old are not always clearly distinguishable. I see the concept of time as a fluid construct of countless transparent layers from the past to the future, which lie on top of each other and sometimes still influence each other. My intervention in one place is always one among many. All these things are not necessarily relevant, but they eventually create something like a spirit of a place. If I manage to capture such moods with my intervention, I can perhaps anchor the place a little better. This is something that can give a sense of support to an inhabitant or on an emotional level. On the one hand, I see architecture as an art. A building or a built configuration is a materialized expression of an idea and remains in a certain form for a few years. And therefore, building is always a witness to a certain moment and an attitude and a philosophy. The craft of planning should therefore be carried out with as much commitment as possible. Therefore, construction should also be conceived as a work of art. The building process is the moment when something materializes and changes, and this process should be given as much value as possible. Existing structures must always be examined very carefully before they are demolished. The mushroom columns in the basement promised to carry a lot of weight. This led to the idea of placing huge prefabricated wall panels, 14 meters long, on top as a wooden construction. These flat partition walls are braced by truss frames that stand in front of a glass facade. They form a kind of filter layer between the inside and the outside. In each of the walls, 2 steel angles are inserted which support the beams of the stories. 5 of these beams are statically relevant. All others are only fixed with 1 screw and can be easily removed or added again. In this way, the flats can be built on very easily. Walls can be added, a second bathroom or another story. At first, each house is an empty shell with a room furniture on the ground floor, with a kitchen, an open bathroom and a staircase. There is a difference between craftsmanship and the building process, especially since craftsmanship is disappearing and more trades are losing knowledge and skills. In the building process, however, one can try to develop things, find details, think further about techniques and solve problems, such as the hanging wall construction on the bathroom. This is not about complex craftsmanship, but about the possibility of building outside the norms, and in the building process, with the help of the craftsmen, increasing the possibilities for action and building inexpensive, high-quality details. This is the open bathroom space from the inside, an all-wood shower. This was a material experience that now seems to be working. While lying in the bathtub, I can see under the wall into the room. When I shower, you can see my knees. When I build living space, I think very much about the human body, its movements in three-dimensional space, the way you touch and handle something, the way your eyes wander in space. Room proportions and lighting, surface texture and colors should at best be an inspiration for body and mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you.